Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Andrea and I have been selling on Etsy for 8 years, and this YouTube channel is just where I share that journey along with you guys, things that I've worked in the past, things that I'm currently trying and doing that I'm excited about. Basically on this channel, we talk about Etsy. So if that is what you are interested in, you are in the right place. Today specifically, we are going to be talking about one thing that if you can learn this one thing, you will be successful on Etsy. Okay, so for my returning viewers, my people that are subscribed to this channel and watch every video, they will not be shocked at all to hear that this one thing that we're going to talk about today is Etsy SEO. I am a huge believer in SEO, Etsy SEO specifically, and I am not shy about it on this channel. A little bits and pieces of my story I'll share with you guys just so that you guys know why I am so into it. So first of all, I've been selling on Etsy for 8 years. Like I mentioned, it's what I've been doing since I was in high school. And this year, I'm currently pregnant with our first daughter, and well, with our first kid who happens to be a daughter. This year will be the first time it'll have to take a part-time role, just because we want to be more of a stay-at-home mom. But long story long, I've been doing Etsy for a really long time, and we really don't use any sort of outside marketing like Facebook or Instagram or email list or really anything. We had them, we've tried them in the past. I just recently deleted our Instagram account and our email list. We've never used them successfully. So almost 90% or more of our orders are coming from Etsy SEO. And so I'm a huge believer in Etsy SEO. Another little tidbit is that I went through a very hard year as a seller where my income was just not high enough to not justify going getting another job. I was still like a mid 5-figure seller, but I wasn't making enough to stay on the platform or to keep my full-time job. And that following year, I dedicated so much time to Etsy SEO that I doubled my revenue, and I just revamped all my keywords and I redid my whole strategy. And it totally worked. I doubled my revenue. And so yeah, basically that is my journey with SEO and why I am so passionate about it and why I firmly believe that if you can learn it, you will be successful on Etsy basically no matter what. But again, I guess it doesn't give you the specific reasons why. We're going to dive into why I think this is a really, really good thing to learn and worth dedicating your time to. But yeah, that is my journey with Etsy SEO. Okay, so the reason why Etsy SEO specifically is a foolproof strategy, I keep making the clarification that we are talking about Etsy SEO and Google SEO. The biggest reason why, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now, the biggest reason why I chose to do Etsy SEO rather than tackle Google SEO is that it's just so much less research, competitive, all kinds of stuff. It's just more, it's simpler. And so that was something that my brain could handle. Google SEO, I think now that I have a very, very I'm not an expert at Etsy SEO, though you guys in the comments have been very nice in calling me that before. I would be able to understand Google SEO, but I don't know everything that goes into it. But basically, we are talking about Etsy SEO, and the reason why I think it's a very good strategy, the surface level reason, is that Etsy brings in millions of warm buyers to their platform every single year. That's relevant for two reasons. One is the millions. Etsy is a very, very large platform for buying handmade items. It brings in a large customer base. A lot of people shop on Etsy. It's a household name. It's like being in Target or being in Walmart. Obviously, don't come at me in the comments. I know that it's not actually like being in Target, but it's a large platform. It's not an unheard of platform. People shop on Etsy. And the other thing is that they typically are very warm buyers. Unlike having to convince someone scrolling on Instagram that just got on there for entertainment that they should leave the platform and buy, most people aren't on Etsy for entertainment. Though they might still be in the research phase of what they want, they typically are wanting to buy something. They're not there to do something else, and then you have to convince them to buy something. So they are bringing in a lot of warm buyers every single year, which makes SEO a really good strategy because once they are there and they are warm, all you have to get them to do is get them to click on the biggest part of the puzzle is getting them to click on your specific listing within Etsy, and SEO increases your likelihood of that happening. Okay, so that, like I mentioned, is just the surface level of why I think that Etsy SEO is such a foolproof strategy. Taking it one step deeper, like one step further into the SEO puzzle, is that if you can learn SEO and if you can learn what goes into SEO and what's ranking and how to do it, how to get good at SEO, you can apply that to your shop a million different ways, regardless of what niche you're in. You can apply that to your shop. So I want to share with you guys a specific example of a way that we applied Etsy SEO and saw a bestseller from it on my own shop. So I think that sometimes when people think about listing new products that are catering towards trends, they think they have to change their niche, and that's not necessarily true. So last year, I realized that a niche that is trending and in the Etsy world as a whole are items for nurses, like clothing for nurses, gifts for nurses. Nurses as a whole is trending in Etsy. And so I took it upon myself to look up what we could sell as a machine embroidery shop for nurses. And we came up with this nursing jacket. And it has been a bestseller for us, like literally since the moment that I listed it. It's been a very, very profitable seller for us. I'm in one of my slowest seasons right now. We probably have 40 open orders and probably 20 of them are from that nursing jacket. So that was an opportunity where being keen to SEO. I don't like to use examples. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm bragging. I don't like to use examples. There's been a lot of times where I've got it really wrong too, which I've talked about my most costly business mistakes in another video. Like, I'm not trying to be like, look at all the amazing things that I did right. I don't like to use other shops as an example because I don't want to like steal their keywords or anything like that. It's just easier for me to use my own shop. But anyways, that is an example of a time where I recognized a trend and said, you know what, how can I apply that to what I'm already doing? How can I keep my shop relevant? What can I do to make that a trend that I can capitalize on within my own niche? And so it's something where it's very, very easy because you're doing what you're not learning a new skill. You're not doing anything different, but just tweaking your shop to the trends so that you can sell more. And yeah, it's been a really, really good, just a really good seller for us. And so that being said, you can do that and it makes it to where your shop is always relevant in search. And so that really, really helps if you're getting orders. Like, we rely on Etsy SEO for our orders. Like I said, we don't have an Instagram. We don't have any outside help. It makes it to where you can constantly stay relevant. And so you don't have to worry about your item going out of fashion or whatever, because you can just stay on top of it and constantly apply the trends to your specific craft and list them in your store. The best part about SEO, and like this is something like, this is like, I felt like we tackled why, and then we tackled how to apply it. And then I think like the best part about SEO is that it carries with you. It's not something that you unlearn. It's not an investment that it's like a skill that you keep with you. If you've been hanging out on this channel, I think I already mentioned in this video that I'm pregnant. We are drastically trying to scale back my workload. I'm very interested in passive income opportunities. Basically, we are going to be changing a lot. A lot of our personal lives and business lives are going to be changing this year because we're having our first baby. And so this is a skill that I am relying on helping me through this year as we figure out how to, specifically this year, I unpackaged this in a different video, but basically I really want to try and get the most bang for my buck out of my actual working hours. And I'm relying on Etsy SEO to be the skill that carries me, that like makes that possible. And so whether that looks like starting a print on demand shop or like really niching down into very specific profitable items for embroidery, I know that keyword research and product research will be the skill, the overall skill that I need to make that possible. And so this carries with you to whatever you decide to do on Etsy. As long as you are an Etsy seller, knowing Etsy SEO will not go to waste. It's not something that you can't spend too much time on it. It's not something you can you can't overcomplicate it, and people do, and that's not what I was trying to say, but basically it's not wasted time to learn this skill, because as long as you are selling on Etsy, it is very valuable information to have. Whereas if you're gonna learn how to hand letter, and maybe I'm not knocking hand lettering in any way, because that's also a very valuable skill, a skill that I wish I had, but if you're going to learn a very specific skill like that and then transfer out of it completely, it's not something that carries with you as well as this skill does. As far as you can apply this to any shop. If you have Etsy SEO in your tool belt, in a skill that you have, you can carry it to anywhere and take it with you so long as you are selling on Etsy, which is a huge, huge plus of learning SEO in my opinion. Before we end this video, I am going to quickly touch on what I do, very, very quickly give you the overarching how I learned SEO and what I do. So I first learned SEO by just using Etsy search. I wasn't using any keyword research tools in any way. I have, since having this YouTube channel, certain keyword softwares have reached out and said, hey, do you want to try it, blah, 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 blah. So I've tried a lot of them and haven't loved them. And I never found one that really, really fit in with the strategy that I learned on, which was just using Etsy and Etsy search for my keyword research. That's how I learned. That's how I was taught. I was not the person that used keyword softwares. And then I started using Everbee. And this is not and then I started using Everbee. I really firmly believe that you can do it either way. Everbee was just the catalyst that took the missing piece of what I needed and combined it to where it worked with my already existing strategy. Everbee already worked with that, and so, or works really well with what I was already doing, and I'm a huge fan of it. Eventually I will, once my keyword strategy is fully fleshed out. Right now I'm still really, really tweaking with it because I just recently got introduced to Everbee, and I am still just really tweaking with the ways to use it. But I can tell you that as of right now, I'm a huge fan of the way that it's kind of been married with my already existing keyword strategy. So if you want to try Everbee, I do have a link in the description. You can get 10 free searches a month. It's totally free if you go up to 10 searches. I have opted to have the growth plan so that I can get more than that, because one big part of my keyword research strategy is just search. And so I would cap out 10 like that. But if you want to try it, see if it works for your brain, see if it works for your strategy, you can check it out in the listing description below. Also, if you want to learn more about keyword research and my specific strategy and how to optimize your listings and your shop for SEO, you can check out my masterclass in the link in the description. It is basically how to start your Etsy shop and make $1,000 within 30 days. But we go into my optimization strategy that I've used for my own shop and what helped me learn SEO and all that good stuff. So that is just a little bit of how I learned SEO, what I'm currently trying. I try to be really, really honest with you guys on this channel. It's something that I'm trying to do more this year, which is just bring you guys along rather than bring you guys fully fleshed out and ready strategies. I'm just going to bring you guys along for the journey. And right now, this looks like exploring new passive income opportunities with a new product research tool. So I hope that you guys can forgive my honesty and just being like, this is what I'm trying. But yeah, that is what I guess not forgive it, but hopefully you guys like my honesty because it's not going anywhere. But yeah, that is kind of how I learned SEO and why I'm a firm believer that if you can get the skill, learn the skill of SEO for Etsy, you will see success no matter what your niche, even if you want to pivot within Etsy. So I'm a huge believer in that. If you are interested in learning that for yourself, do check out the masterclass and hang out around here because we talk about Etsy all the time. I have several videos on this channel about Etsy search. You can feel free to binge watch those. And thank you so much for being here.